Hi everybody, this is Shane R. Monroe, and today we're going to be looking at a new high-definition texture pack for Valheim, brought to you courtesy of Coco. And you'll notice in the bottom right, we say original textures. Anytime you see that, we'll be looking at the original game, versus, of course, when we're looking at Coco's texture pack. So as you can see here, I'm sure you've seen this screen a million times. We're in our standard blocky looking sort of pixelated mode. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at this again after we have the HD textures. And you can definitely tell there's a little bit longer of a load time here. This is, the price you pay for bigger textures, right? So yeah, there you go. Now we see the logo. And in we come. And as you can already see, it looks like a different game almost. The Valheim logo looks great, of course, but take a look. The blocks, the jaggedies, the pixelations are gone. Look at the ground. Look at how the new textures look and really enhance the game. We're going to start off by looking around my main complex here. This, of course, is our original textures. And just peeking around a little bit. This is the part of the game, or the game you're used to. So nothing should be surprising here, but I do want to give you the opportunity to see some differences based on the lighting and the construction and everything else. And we'll take a look outside. I'm right here on the border of the Black Forest and the plains. And again, this probably looks familiar to pretty much everybody. Look at my cloak, it's all blocky. Look at the textures of the roof. Look at the sort of thatched grass look. Now let's look at it with the new textures. Wow, everything just looks a bit more real. Look at the floorboards. Look at the walls. Even the cauldron there looks better. And we'll walk around just a little bit. Take a look. It's also darker now. Give you a sort of a different perspective with all the lighting. And you can see, look at the chest. They've got some sort of a definition now. There's almost a silvery glint on the rings. And if you look at the walls, I'm trying to dial in here so you can see see, look at that. Look on the walls, or on the stanchions there, you can actually see nails. You couldn't really see that before. It kind of sticks out. All right, let's take a look outside now. And as you can see, things look pretty dang good up here. We'll go back to the original textures now, and we'll run around a little bit. And again, take a look at the roof, take a look at the ground. We're going to run by the kiln, the smelters, beehives, just so you can kind of get an idea of what this might look like now with the high definition textures. There's our windmill, of course. You can see the edges, the rock edges of my encampment. All right, now we'll take a look at it from, now again, it's dark, and I apologize for the differences of daytime and nighttime. But I thought it might give an opportunity to better see things with different lighting as well. But let's take a look over here. Let's take a look at beehives. Look definitely better. Look at that. Look at our furnace there, and it looks great. The ground definitely has a lot more texture. See how the walls of the encampment there, they blend in a lot better. It looks really great. Back to reality. Let's jump over here. Take a look. Here's my cultivated fields. Nothing's planted, unfortunately. There's a rock or a stone building from previously. And we'll just run around over here a little bit. This is, I'm not going to hang out over here. If I get jumped by goblins, I'm in no condition to, furlongs. I call them goblins. They look like little green goblins, right? I'm not in a position really to fight them right now. But let's go back over here. Now let's take a look at our cultivated field. Looks great. The stone structure over there, of course, has some great improvements. Again, it's a little harder to see. Now, notice the pop-in, though. The pop-in, listen, there's pop-in when it's in the lower textures as well, but especially out in the plains, the pop-in is very evident when you're with these higher resolution textures. So this is an area that I've cleared out. There's some mushrooms. Take a look at those as we go by. And now we're here in the Black Forest. There's an entrance to some burial grounds or some burial crypts. And you can see the trees. Everything is, this is the original textures. You've probably played this a million times at this point. You've walked through a lot of Black Forest, but I wanted to sort of give you a preview before we move over to the nice textures, just so that you can get a feel for the differences here. We'll start heading back. Now let's flip over, and wow, look at the rocks. The rocks, the stumps look incredible. Even as we go by these mushrooms, I think I take a quick stop here. The mushrooms are even textured. They even have those little yellow spots on them. Look at that, the burial crypt there. The crypt looks great. Trees, much better. The leaves and the foliage. The little red dots inside of the bushes there. Just a little extra thing. Look at how great that bark looks on the trees. It looks fantastic. It really does. You know, the game is so great and so much fun. And here's the big rock formation. And get off. There's always somebody behind you. You notice that about this game? There's always somebody running around behind you. And again, we can see some of the other varied rock formations, some of the bushes, and you can see just sort of how the transition between Meadows and Black Forest looks. It looks a lot cleaner. It doesn't look like there's as big of a transition as there was before. All right, so we're back in here. I thought maybe I would look at the items to see if they looked a lot better. Open up my chest, take a look at some of my regular items. We're in the original textures here now, and you can take a look for yourself. I think I'll eat some lox, keep us tidied up for the next part. And listen, it all looks fine. It looks great. I don't suspect we'll see a lot of change here, though. All right, so now we're in here looking again, and yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell because it's darker. If maybe some of that, you know, sort of that dark hue around it makes it look a little better, almost like an HDR type effect. But I wouldn't say there's a ton of changes there. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the Meadows proper. As you can see, here's our standard original texture warp scene. And I don't leave all the warps in. I just wanted you to see one example of it. And here we are with our original textures. This was my original main base out in the Meadows. Lots of stonework here. You can see a lot of the standard stuff. Here we are, nice big wide open field. And the grass, of course, pixelated as you would expect it to be with the original textures. Dirt still looks pretty good. I mean, I almost kind of like the dirt with the pixelated textures. Take a look at the trees, the water line. Water, of course, still looks great. And yeah, I mean, so take a look at the stone walls. You'll see a big difference when we go to the texture pack. And we'll switch over here. Now notice when we teleport, I don't know what's going on with this. I feel like maybe there was a bug in the texture pack that I downloaded. Obviously that doesn't look good, but hey, now look at this. Look at our new base here. Well, it looks like a new base. It's really the same place. Look at the stonework. Look at the texture work on that. Looks very nice. The grass looks a lot more lush. The rocks out there look better. And let's zoom in a little bit on some of this grass here, just so you can kind of see the difference here. Because a lot of times the way you have your camera, you'll be able to see the grass closer up. And I gotta say, I like the higher textures. They just look so much better. They make the game feel more immersive. And listen, I'm not a graphics is the game sort of guy. I believe that the best games on the planet could be wireframe, and as long as they're fun and challenging, that it's still a great game. But in this case, you know, to have sort of a mixture of great organics like the water, and then to have the 8-bit sort of, well, not 8-bit, but chunky pixel type scenario, I think it's sort of, I don't know, it sort of confuses the eye, and it doesn't lend itself to a lot of pleasantness. All right, so we're gonna go take a look at the swamp, and I got a little lead in here with the original textures. I was hoping it would get a little lighter. So I vamp a little bit here before getting to the swamp. But you can see here Black Forest, nighttime, dark, it's dawn, I believe, at this point in time, and it is foggy. So, you know, it sort of hides the textures, the original textures a little bit when it's dark or foggy. And I'm going to run over here. I just kind of wanted to give you a lead up. We won't do this whole big lead up when we go to the new HD textures. But seeing the transitions between the biomes, I think, is important to see. And we'll see it on the way back for the other one. And here we go. Take a look. That's a copper deposit. See how it's glinting, sort of glinting with a sheen? I like that effect a lot, and I want to point out that it's not there when we go into the higher textures. If there was anything I would say negative about this, this would be one of the things is I don't like the way that the ore is changed, because it removes the glint and puts in these big dark cracks. And you'll see it, you'll be able to see it. There's a couple of good examples here in the video. But listen, the swamp is always dark. I mean, I know it's dawn, and but you can, I mean, again, if you've been playing this game for any length of time, you pretty much know what the original textures look like. For those of you who are new to the game, maybe haven't got to the swamp biomes yet, I wanted you to be able to see what this looked like originally. And of course, there's always chapter jumps if you want to hop around the video and just see high definition textures or HD texture pack stuff from Coco. And to see where we sort of, there we go. So now we're going to go ahead and get into the texture pack. Now take a look. Of course, it looks great. It's light outside. There is, see, that's our copper right there. There's no glint, but you see how there's big black cracks? That's what's supposed to indicate that it's copper. And frankly, the glint was one of the pieces of magic to finding those ore rocks or those ore deposits. And I feel like with the texture pack, it really is a lacking item. I think it's one thing, like right there, can you see it? That's supposed to be copper, and it just doesn't look like copper. I don't know, maybe he couldn't get that glint with the higher resolution, I don't know. But as you can see, look, the swamp looks, I mean, listen, it's a swamp, but the swamp still looks great. You know, we have some of the Black Forest stuff sort of mixed in here, the trees, the ancient trees, pine trees. It all looks great. The textures look great in here. The swamp, for being a swamp, it looks as good as it's going to be thanks to these HD textures. And again, as I said, there's always some guy behind you. It looks good. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. It just looks great. Even in the dark, it looks good. And then we're going to sort of approach, there's our transition between the biomes. And again, it feels more seamless between the biome transitions. It doesn't feel so, boom, you're in the Black Forest. Boom, you're in the, you're in the meadows. Boom, you're in the swamp. So let's go up to the mountain. And frankly, I think this is the least improved, and maybe I would almost say that it degrades the mountain experience having the high definition texture pack. And of course, I forgot I changed games here. So let me re-equip everything and get off. All right, so now we're going up the side of the mountain here, and as you can see, there's sort of that weird transition where there's a little frost on the rocks. You sort of get the feeling, hey, I'm getting ready to go up here. There's this transition. There's still a little bit of grass here. It's a more distinctive transition. Here's more frost, there's more grass in this area, but more frost. The trees are nice and frosted. The mountain areas have this sort of dissimilar texture across them, which again, I feel sort of lends to this whole frosted winter wonderland here that's going on. And I feel like I'm like at Santa's workshop up here, minus the wolves and everything that's trying to kill you up here, the stone golems, and it looks good. I feel like I'm trudging through snow. I feel like I've significantly changed biomes here. But again, it's still the lower resolution. There's still the pixely look there. The trees have that pixelated look. But the rock and the snow looks really good. The ground still looks good in this biome here. And so we'll head back down and we'll transition again so you can kind of get that feel. Heavy snow, a little less snow, frost, a little less frost. You see how it's kind of that transition, and I like that. I like the feeling of that, and it looks good overall. Now let's move to our high definition textures. And of course, the meadows look fantastic. They look great. But now let's go up to the side of the mountain here. And, ooh, what happened? Let me put on bone mass here. Just, listen, if I get jumped by a pack of 4 wolves, I'm not really in a good position. But what happened here? Look at this transition. There's like no transition. It's dirt. The rocks are dirt. There's that grass we saw earlier on the way up. There's no transition here. It's dirt. And I think you lost me on the high definition texture pack here. Okay, so now we're getting into some of the frost area. And okay, now we're starting to understand there's a little transition here, but it's dirt and snow. It doesn't look like a rocky sort of terrain. It looks like dirt and snow. And the trees, they're still frosted. They definitely look better. We have our rocks and everything is up here, but it looks like it's almost like a desert with snow on it. There's almost no definition to the ground itself up here. It's snow and dirt. And even the trees, they don't, I mean, it looks better. I mean, look, the trunk looks a little bit better, maybe, but in reality, if you're looking at this from, you know, an improvement standpoint, I would say no. I would say that the mountain biome took a hit. And here's a nice wolf for us to kill. Usually there's another one running around over here. They usually come in pairs, but I don't see the other one here. But again, take a look. The rock and the dirt are very, very similar in color. And we'll go back down and we'll show you the transition again. This is the least impressive part of it, and it's almost a distraction. Here are the new raspberries. They look nice. Get out of the way. It's funny, you know, you can't get those guys without a bow until you're not hunting them. All right, so let's go over to my Black Forest fortress, and this is where I have a lot of my unusual tools and things set up. This was also built on a giant stone structure that I put wood paneling on, like a good trailer park trash guy, right? I just panel it with everything. It's still it's still stone on the inside. But you can see here the original textures and the original workbench and the original forge. It's fine. Let's go outside. I chopped down a ton of trees. You probably saw this if you follow me on Twitter. I may have done another video. Essentially, I was trying to chop down the entire Black Forest out here. I'm going to make it a parking lot, and we're going to have visitors. I was actually hoping there was a troll out here, but there is not. I killed him not too long ago, and I guess he hasn't respawned yet. But here we are. I've chopped down tons and tons of trees. As you can see, I cleared a good half of this peninsula. I've chopped down all the trees in there. And it gives you an opportunity to sort of see a little diversity in terms of what that looks like. And here's an entrance underground. And here we are with the high definition texture pack. Everything just looks yummy. That looks yummy. My cheap wood paneling looks yummy. The bellows looks yummy. Everything looks yummy. Look at the walls. Look at the chest. Look at the kiln and the smelter. Everything just looks great. Look at the fermenter. Right? Even the tool rack above the workbench. Everything's just got this nice sheen to it. It looks great. Bed looks better. And let's go back outside here. And one of the things I wanted to test, and the reason I came out here is there's sort of a differential here. I've got a lot of things chopped down. There's a lot of loose items. I was curious how it might affect performance and how I might feel while playing. Just because there's so many trees chopped down and everything is in disarray. It's not, you know, sort of your standard biome loadout here. And everything seems to be running fine from a performance point of view. And it looks good. Everything looks as you would hope. And let's take a tour down below. This is something, we're back to our original textures now. And frankly, you can see, look at the walls. They're chunky pixel. I'm obviously still chunky pixel. We're not going to spend a ton of time down here, but I had one handy. You see the torches, chunky. The mushrooms are plain. But the walls, you know, listen, it's all dark. It's hard to see the textures. It all looks fine. You see the skeletal remains down there. All right, now let's go down with the texture pack. As you can see, the walls definitely look a little better. I mean, not, you know, it's not like, oh, wow, look at the walls. But with yourself being a little less chunky, the fire looks better over here on the right. The walls are better. The doors are better. The mushrooms definitely have more texture to them. They look better. They look like real mushrooms. More real mushrooms. Yeah, glowing yellow mushrooms look real. Whatever. Look around at the walls a little bit here. And yeah, it's better. It's not significantly better. Not like the Meadows. All right, so let's take a look at our friend the troll. How has he evolved in this high definition texture pack? And so here we are. Here is our original troll. Scary blue as always, but definitely more primitive. I wasn't going to hang around too long. I'll give you more of a look at it in the high definition textures. And there he is off in the distance. Again, the time of day makes this a pain, but I'm going to put the sun behind me in a moment here so that you can see the troll in all of his glory, and then I'm going to take him down. Unfortunately, I'm not used to running around with so little food and so little stamina, but I didn't want to burn a bunch of food for this video. So let's take a look at how does our troll look now. Oh yeah, he's still scary as hell looking, but he's definitely got some more definition to him. His body actually looks scaled. You know, that was one of the things about the troll hide armor is that, to take a look at that, he looks good, right? I mean, he almost looks too scaled. He's kind of almost got like a reptilian skin to him, but it's better than it was. I don't know what a troll actually looks like, so we'll have a little poetic license here. Good time to be running out of food too, by the way. Normally these guys go down a lot easier when I'm not shooting video and I'm not on the edge of a wall and the sun's not in my eyes. But there you go, you can get a better look at his textures, and you can take a look at his hide now too. The gold looks pretty good, a little bit better, but the hide's got that real textured look to it. So we're back to the original graphics here. I'm just going to go inside and one last time show you about the inside. And then we'll return from our trip at night inside the house with the nice textures and the lighting. Yeah, so there you go. I mean, this is it. This is the Coco High Definition texture pack. It's available for free, and I will provide links, of course, down below where you can get that good stuff. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to stick with the high definition texture pack personally, even though the mountains kind of took a hit. But I think you'll enjoy it. It's very easy. It's 6 files to overwrite, and you can always go back anytime. This is Shane R. Monroe. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like this video, share it, and of course subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. Thanks again.